woman in a tree, Mother Nature style. And I even tried to give her a little bit of shape. Rachel was nice enough to draw all over it for me, but thank you for buying them because this is a really ugly sunflower. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jess, and in today's video, I'm going to be going through some of my sketchbooks. So you're not going to actually see my face today, but I did paint my fingernails. So, well, not really. I used good old Color Street. My nails are so short, so they're nice and ombre and beautiful. Anyway, so you'll see that. For those of you who don't know, I am in the process of closing down my wood burning business because it's been causing some issues with my health, my lungs, my skin, that sort of thing. So we've made the decision to close the business, and I have been obviously doing some cleanup and going through some things to get rid of before we close everything totally. So I found my sketchbook, and most of them are loose papers, and I thought we would go through them all. We'll go through the actual book first because there's not much in it. I tended to, when I would draw something in here, then I would take it out in order to scan it into my computer so that I could resize and do whatever I needed to do with it. So I thought it might be a fun video to take you with me and just see some of the sketches I've done over the last few years. I am definitely not a pro at drawing. Oh my gosh, the dog is going nuts. He's rooting around. I'm not a pro at drawing by any means. I have never really like practiced or done any sort of education on it. So what I got is what I got. So I'm better at wood burning than just straight up drawing, but really all I needed for the sketching was kind of the base outline, and then I could wood burn from there. So let's go through it and see what we have. So first of all, you will see a lot of this because my son and my daughter over the years have found my sketchbook and done some drawing of their own. This is actually my mom's, the very first one, with Rachel's scribbles over top, but she copied a Christmas card one time or something and was drawing just for the fun of it. So that's what that one is. Some scribbles, some scribbles. This is something I drew just for the fun of it, I guess, a few years ago. Just a bunch of mushrooms, a little snail guy, and some greenery. This is one I scribbled out for a cutting board. You can see outside of the cutting board for potential design. And again, this is just really just coloring in. There's no detail at all in that. I never ended up putting that onto a board. It was a lot of wood burning when you actually got to the burning part of it. But that's that. This is actually a picnic table that I did for my nieces. So this was my design idea. So it says Leanna here. That's my one niece. And then I had flowers all around. So this would have been the seat. And then this would have been the actual table. And then this was Leanna's side. So she was sitting on her side with her name. And then if you flip it around, this would have been Mackenzie's side. And I never drew anything there. I ended up, and then this was hers. So the fairies stayed the same. Although I think Leanna was holding a ladybug, and then I did, for Mackenzie's, I did a little bird instead of a bouquet of flowers sitting in her lap. But she was sitting on a mushroom, and she was sitting on the flowers, and I did them a little bit different. This is just kind of my sketch, and I never also ended up doing these. I did write their names in the seats, but I didn't do flowers around just because the project took me like months, and there was literally a kid's picnic table in my living room for like 6 months. Anyway, so that was my sketch of kind of what I wanted to do. If I can find a photo of it, I will put it in here as well for you guys to see the finished product. So this is a hydrangea flower that I drew. I think I might have put it on a spoon at one point, but I didn't love the design, so I stopped. But I do love drawing flowers. So this was, well, I was attempting to draw a fern for probably the first or second time. So that was just a scribble on there. I loved these coasters. So this was actually a coaster set with the elements. So what did I call them? Water, air, sun, and earth. I don't know, whatever the elements are. But I liked these because they were simple, just simple line work, but together they were really pretty on a coaster. Again, if I can find any actual wood burnings of these, I'll post pictures up so you can see what they look like when they were burned. Here's some of Daniel's schoolwork. There's the famous bumblebee. That is the bee that I drew that is on my most popular products ever. The best-selling things are all due to this fuzzy little honeybee. I always call him a bumblebee, and I'm pretty sure it's labeled as a bumblebee, but my goal was to go for the honeybee. Oh, here's another fern. A very ugly fern. I was not good at drawing ferns. I'm not that good at drawing much, to be honest. I am just figuring it out as I go. Oh, here's one. There's so many blank pages. This is a skull that I had started drawing because I'm really bad at faces, and I wanted to do something cool for Halloween. I was actually gonna do like flowers and stuff all coming out of it. I did use a reference for this. I used actually multiple references for this skull, but I did sort of base it off of one in particular that was angled this way. And then, but I didn't trace any of it. That's all my drawing. And then I never actually finished it, but maybe someday I will. I think this is the last one. Rachel was nice enough to draw all over it for me, but just a little sketch of a mushroom for a couple of ideas that I'd had for wood burning, but I never actually burned anything like this. Never got around to it. So that is it for the sketchbook, I think. Yeah, I don't see anything else in there. A couple scribbles, but... So let's get out my drawing. So now these will be kind of all over the place. I'll start with ones that actually weren't in the sketchbook. They were just on paper, but I'd started drawing just on paper, and then I moved to the sketchbook. But like I said earlier, I did take a lot of them out of this book in order to scan them into the computer when I plan on doing designs. So let's have a look at these ones. So you can tell by the disgustingness of this paper that it's very old, but when I first started wood burning, I was really into like Zentangle and geometric shapes. So I took the outline of a owl and made it all geometric and very cool. So I liked him. He was a lot of fun. I did that on a wood burning. I don't even know if I have a picture of it, but I will look. Then I also did a bear. He was really cute. I did a lot of different things with this shape. I did one geometric, but yeah, very, very simple, very easy to do. Just found some spots and drew some lines towards them. You can see where I put the dots, and then did the line work, just meeting it in all different places. So super simple, super fun project, even you could do with the kids. I love doing it. So that was my geometric phase. I only have a couple of those. This was actually for a magnet, and it was a clean, dirty magnet. So nature, trees, clean, turn it towards the city and it's dirty. And then I had written dirty and clean, and on a wood slice coaster. And actually those were really popular, but I stopped doing those when I stopped cutting my own coasters, and because surprisingly they took a really long time to do, like really long time. So, or maybe not surprisingly, I don't know, but yep, that's my clean dirty magnet drawing. Then I happened to get into this like crazy wreath phase. So this was one of the first wreaths I ever drew. You can actually kind of see it better on the back because I used carbon paper and it traced it, like what drew on the back as well when I traced it onto the wood. But it was very like asymmetrical and like the leaves sticking out all over the place. If you didn't have it perfectly centered, like look at how ugly that wreath is if it's angled like this. So yeah, that was one of my first ones. Then I drew this one, and look, I even labeled top on the top because, again, if you turn it like a different way, it just isn't, it's not circly enough. Like it has things sticking out all weird, and it just doesn't look like a nice wreath, you know? This way actually looks like it's falling around upside down, so I had it labeled as top so that it was somewhat better. It looks better positioned like this, but another one of my drawings. This one was, what are they called? Like a mandala, but kind of a weird one. And it's really dark because I went over it in like a markery pen thing afterwards. So I like this one, it was cute. And that was all hand drawn. I used a ruler obviously, but I was pretty proud of that one back when I did that. Now all of these ones are probably dating back to about 2018, which is when I started getting into wood burning and drawing. So 5 years ago or so. Then I have this one, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to do dark or light. I ended up actually coloring this one in with watercolor pencils. So again, I will post a picture, but that was just another fun mandala art that I drew. Here is a whole bunch of wreaths, and I used these wreaths for, I have little paw print ornaments that I do. So it had like your pet's name, or there was like our first home or baby's first Christmas, that sort of thing. And then they could choose, I never ended up using this one, but I did do these 3 little wreaths, and then you could choose which one you wanted around your little Christmas ornament. So yeah, that was fun. Here's just some more wreath drawings. This one I didn't like, obviously I drew an X through it. I just used this one instead. That was, oh, this was for my, it said like mom's kitchen or grandma's kitchen, and I did these on my spoons. Those were actually pretty cute. This I have no idea why it says anemone here, but I was trying to repeat it on the other side, and I was like, why don't I just mirror it? So I did one side of the wreath, and then when I scanned it into the computer, then I just mirrored it and flipped it so that it was even all the way around. And it actually was really nice. And I would either put people's initials or a name or something small in here. I did have like a base one that you could get that just had my little bumblebee in it, or my honeybee. And then people could write in the wreath if they wanted to, and I did those on cutting boards. This was my first attempt at a sunflower. Don't judge me. It's really ugly. I actually did sell a couple boards with this one, which thank you for buying them. Because this is a really ugly sunflower. I don't know if it's just the shading, the leaves are not right, but it's not full enough to be a sunflower. But yeah, it was my first attempt. I did what I could. Okay, now I really got into coasters for a while, so there's gonna be like coaster sets coming up here. So this one was my succulents coaster sets. So cactuses and different plants, all in different types of planters. So nice and simple, like really simple, but cute, like really cute. They were pretty popular. Then I had my Canada ones. These ones and the ones you're about to see, you can kind of see behind, were by far my most popular. So with my little loon, moose, beaver, obviously, and then a maple leaf. So this was my Canadian coaster set because I am from Canada. Then this is my other popular one. It was another nature one. It just had a bear print, antlers, some trees, and then the mountains. This one, however, was my favorite because, as you know, I love flowers. So this is an anemone. You can tell that I love flowers, but I'm not really good at identifying them. So I had to label what everything was so I wouldn't forget them. So that's my anemone drawing. My peony. I actually really love drawing peonies. This is the first peony I ever drew, so I am better at it now. But actually, you'll see there's some progression because you'll see a few more peonies as we go. Calendula flower, which again, this is the first time I drew any of them. I always have this thing where I don't like drawing things more than once. I don't know why, because the more and more I draw them, the better I get. But I just did it once, and if I was like, oh, good enough. We'll just stick with that. So that's my bad. But and then a dahlia or a dahlia, however you say it. I'm not really sure. So yeah, that was my flower set, and I loved this one. It was so beautiful. I'll post a picture too here for you. All right, now this one I only did once. I just drew it one night sitting on the couch watching TV with my husband. Pretty sure we were watching Game of Thrones at that time. And this was probably just before or just around the time of COVID. Just before, I think. Because I remember I did this on one cutting board, and I remember bringing it to a craft show. Anyways, and we didn't have craft shows for a couple years with COVID. So it's obviously a woman in a tree, Mother Nature style, and I even tried to give her a little bit of shape as the woman, but I just thought it was really pretty and kind of symbolic in 100 different ways. But yeah, I just really enjoyed drawing this one, and I burnt it once, but I really thoroughly enjoyed drawing this guy, girl, lady, tree. All right, what's next? Oh, I did a little dragonfly and a sunflower. I also put these on wooden spoons. The dragonfly was immensely popular and the butterfly was not. I only did one butterfly and it took me like 3 years to sell it. Brought it to every craft show and people just overlooked it. She's a very simple little butterfly, to be honest, or like to be fair. And because in my wood burning I don't put any color in it, that's about what you got on the thing. So nothing crazy, but, and the dragonfly was the same, no color, but people loved this one. I don't know, cute, simple. I'm pretty proud of the wings actually. It's the first time I ever drew a dragonfly. And I like the wings, I think they're very cool. Anyways, that was that. Now this one was a little set, here's some peonies, that I did for my friend's mom. She reached out to me and asked me to do 2 sets on like big wood discs. And I did 2 and I painted the tea set blue. They were cute, but this was the drawing. Just a little teacup, and I don't know, it was like a thing between them, so they have matching tea sets at home, but they were on wood coasters. And then this was the teapot. Again, it was like a one and done. I drew it and said good enough. But an improvement on the last beanie. This was my drawings for, I never ended up doing this one, so I never colored it in. It was too simple, I didn't like it. It's actually not that bad, it's cute, but it's pretty simple. These I did on my charcuterie boards. So the charcuterie boards were made of cherry wood. They were beautiful. They were live edge on the side, and I didn't think they needed a lot of wood burning, just something that was still mine. So I'll post pictures of those as well, but I had a peony again, and I did add more detail than what's in the picture here. You can see a little bit of my lines there. I never actually filled them in. And then these little flowers, I don't even know what they were. I think I just had them labeled as wildflower. So that was these ones. These are the other 2. I had 4 total. And then the daisy and another wildflower thing. I didn't really know what they were. I was just drawing flowers. But I actually really love these charcuterie boards. And so at some shows they were so popular, and others I couldn't sell them at all. They were a high price point, so that's probably part of it. But they did really well wholesale. I sold a lot of these guys wholesale. I loved these boards and they were so simple and so easy to draw. Yeah. Ah, memories. This was just a super simple daisy sunflower. I don't even really know what it was. I did it on a couple cutting boards. It was not popular at all, but I liked it. It was cute. I'll post a picture of that as well. I think I have pictures of all of these guys. But, yep, happy little sunflower. Now this was just a wildflower drawing. This page is so beat up because I've made so many thousands of these. Not thousands, I'm not that cool, but so I would just do this along the bottom of live edge cutting board or serving board, cherry wood again, but it didn't have like the handle for like the charcuterie, so oops. And this was one of my most popular designs, and it was so simple. You can see it. Well, I drew it quite a few times on the back. I don't know why, because all my other patterns I would just scan them into the computer and then do them so that the original paper stayed good, but for some reason I never scanned this one, and I always just did it off of that. So it's in rough shape, but it was very popular for being so simple. It turned out beautifully on the boards. I'll show this picture of that as well here. Okay, this is my little pineapple dude that I drew. He's very simple looking on here, but I did add all the details on the wood when I burned it. This was another serving board, and he was cute. It was my first time drawing a pineapple. I thought he turned out all right. I really liked the big bushy leaves on top. I thought I did a good job with depicting how a pineapple looks. For those of you who don't know, this is a pineapple. I'm not sure why I didn't color him in either. Probably because I didn't put much detail into it. So that's my pineapple. This is my fern. The fern that you see on all of my fern boards and spoons and measuring spoons. This was my like 300th attempt. I think I showed you 2 of them, but this is what I ended up with, and I love this one. I think it's beautiful. It's well drawn. It's nice and symmetrical, but it's still whimsical enough to be a fern. So yeah, I really like this guy. It's my final product. See what happens when you do things more than once to get better. I love this little chicken. So I did this for a custom project. A friend of mine reached out to me. Her other friend was getting married and she loved chickens. So she asked me to make her a chicken measuring spoon set. So there was this little hen on each one. And I think I did a pretty good job with her. She's a little sassy looking chicken, I think, but she's adorable. I also made a lilac cutting board to go with that. So I will see. I might have that in here. I don't remember if that comes up. And then this is my attempt at wheat. Wheat is like the simplest thing, but I had the hardest time with it. So I attempted to do this so that it looked like I traced the outline of a spoon so that it was like coming up around the outsides, the back of the spoon. But when I burned it on, I struggled. I struggled immensely with it. So that was one iteration of it. This was another, which is cute, but it was too bare looking when I put it on an actual pattern. So never finished that. And then this was the final iteration that we ended up with, which I don't know, I kind of liked this one better, but when I burned it on, it just did not look as good. It was not as full. This is cute. And that's that. Sorry, I'm talking a little bit quieter now because the baby keeps waking up. She's having a hard time sleeping this last couple weeks, it seems, so I'm just trying to stay a little quieter for her. But oh, this is the lilac that I said I did for a cutting board. So it was cute, simple, fun, big heavy lilac, and it was on, like I said, a cherry wood live edge serving board. So it was a one and done. We are almost done, guys. Only got a few left. This is, if you're up to date with my current products, drawings for my herbs, cutting boards, and spoons. So the cutting board has all of these. They're in a different arrangement. This was just how I drew them. But they are still a gallery style on the board. And then I did the dill, the sage, the parsley, and the rosemary in spoons. I didn't do the mint or the thyme. Yeah, but those are fun. I actually drew these ones at a craft show. It was very, very dead craft show. So, and it was a 2-day one. So the first day was really quiet. So the second day I brought my sketchbook and sketched these out while I was waiting for customers to come. And that was probably, these photos aren't really in order, but this one was, I think, last winter. So end of 2022. This is just very, very simple. These are some vines that I drew for my vines ones, and I don't know if I used this one, but I think I used all of these 3 in my vines work. In the spoon has all 3, and then the measuring spoons has just this one coming down off the top of it. So yeah, very, very simple, but this was a very popular design, just a vine silhouette. But it's very dainty and elegant and pretty. I quite liked it. I think I'm on the last one, which is my favorite, and you'll see why in a second. Dun, 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 dun. Look at this. So I had gotten a fair bit better at drawing peonies. I still don't know if I'm that good at it, but for my standards, I was very good. I'll kind of go around the outside and show you everything. I just loved this piece so much. It was so fun to draw, and I wood burned it on an oval shaped live edge piece of wood, and it was stunning. And then there's the heart in the middle. It was gorgeous. I kept it for a couple craft shows, but ended up selling it. I just had it, obviously it's very different from what I normally do. Most of my stuff is like floral or nature inspired, and this obviously has florals in it, but I thought that it would be very, very like some people would be kind of disgusted by it because it's an organ, and you know, but it didn't matter. Men, women, children, old, young, people were fascinated by this. They were absolutely just drawn to it. And so this is the drawing, but the actual wood burning was just stunning. And then I did, for the wood burning, I did all the outside in black, like totally burned it in. And then so this really, really popped, and with like the shading and the lines and everything. And I kept the heart pretty white. I didn't do much. I did a little bit of line work around the outside, you can see, but otherwise I kept it very basic. Most of the detail is in the flowers and the leaves, but this is one of the best drawings that I turned into wood burnings ever. And I absolutely love it. I do have some old sketches at my parents' house I should try and find from when I was like younger, and then I went through college and young adulthood and motherhood and all of that, and I stopped drawing for a lot of years. So I've really only gotten back into it lately. Not that I was ever good before, but I thoroughly enjoy it. So this is my absolute favorite, and as happy as I was that it found its forever home, I was also so sad to let it go. I should have just kept it, put it on as display only, not for sale. But it was actually a guy who bought it, a young guy, and he was putting it in his new home. So I don't know, people like weird things, I guess, but this is my masterpiece, I guess. A heart and some flowers. So that's it, guys. That is all of the art that I have here. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. Did you like this type of video? I obviously can't do very many more because that's all the sketches I have. And these are not all the pieces I wood burned. I did have other things that I wood burned where people gave me photos or found references online, but I burned straight on the wood, so I don't have the actual sketches for them. But I did have some very cool pieces, so I will maybe do a little montage at the end of some other pieces that you didn't see the drawings of, and but I don't want to take credit for the art because the art came from somewhere else, so it wasn't hand drawn by me. All of these pieces were drawn by me, so simple as they may be, that's my collection. So hope you guys liked it. Leave a comment below with your favorite one. Mine's this one, I'll tell you that right now, my absolute favorite. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more. Thanks, guys. Bye.